So bring your burdens to the living God. He'll burn away. So bring your burdens to the living God. He'll burn away. So bring your burdens to the living God. He'll burn away. So bring your burdens to the living God. He'll burn away.
Good evening. Hope everybody is doing all right. That's a song that I ran across today and fell madly in love with it. That is from a group called Sleeping Giant, and the song is Holy is the Lamb. So I got the link for it is in the description of the video. It is an incredible song. So anyway, I hope everyone is doing well. That was a much needed break, but I'll say that it didn't come super easy. Probably the first, I don't know, at least 5 to 7 days. It's like when time for the show rolled around, I just felt this emptiness, and it was really difficult. It really was difficult. I after that though, not a problem. It was clearly a very well needed break. I needed that recharge. I think, and I'm not going to do a prediction video, but I think we have a hell of a year in front of us. And I just think that there are multiple situations that are going to actually escalate. And, I mean, it's already starting to happen. I do have a number of links. What do I got? 7 up. That and every single one of them has to do with conflict. And I will say that every one of these headlines are from today. So, to me, it speaks volumes as to where we stand when it comes to military, foreign relations, and conflict. I don't see, certainly, Ukraine and Russia's not going to settle down anytime soon. Israel and Hamas not going to settle down anytime soon. Now we have China saying that reunification with Taiwan is inevitable. So, my question is, what kind of a timeline does inevitable fall under? I guess we're going to find out. Israel, or not Israel, sorry, North Korea had made the statement, and I don't know all the backstory to it. I actually have not read the article yet because, per usual, a lot of this stuff, I want to wait until I'm here with you. But if it's something that is time important, I'll read the article. And I've read at least half of these, or at least started, got a few paragraphs in just to get a basis of what was going on because, well, one of them I was just interested in. The Su-57, Russia's bad boy. That's their answer to our F-22. Well, it's getting a new pair of shoes. Well, not shoes, but engines. And apparently, that puppy is going to have 80,000 pounds of thrust. And they are introducing artificial intelligence into its systems. That make you feel warm and fuzzy? It does me, because I think these aircraft are incredible. Hey, it is what it is. I mean, they're works of art, and I absolutely do love the Su-57 because it reminds me of an aircraft that should have been. And the aircraft that I'm talking about is the YF-23 Black Widow, which is kind of close to the F-22. They were in competition with each other when the military was looking for that type of 5th-gen type of aircraft. And the F-22 is an awesome bird, but that Su-57 is just as awesome as well. The Dassault Rafale is what I named my youngest son after. That aircraft's a ballerina in the sky, and it's not quite got what the F-22 does. The capability, it's close, and the difference in Canard style aircraft is huge. Huge. So they handle much differently, they perform much differently, and they are a force to be reckoned with. No jokes aside. And you got the Tornado. I mean, there's a lot of good aircraft out there. But I was saying on a video earlier, I did change the wallpaper on my computer because I couldn't resist it. That is actually an Su-57 shooting an F-16 out of the sky. I'm not wishful thinking or anything. It's just a really badass picture. I like it. And I like both those aircraft. One of them's got to be the winner, one of them's got to be the loser. And if you're putting an F-16 up against an Su-57, well, that's one of those true FAFO moments. But anyway, and I know the new block of F-16, I know. Still not as ballerinistic as a Su-57. There again, the Su-57 is not as much of a ballerina as the F-22. Anyway, I'll get off that. Maybe. Wow. Where do I begin? I guess with the news. There's quite a bit to cover. And again, I don't want to go into some big spiel about what I think we're looking at, because then I'm just doing nothing but making a prediction video, and I refuse. I absolutely refuse to do it. I will step in and speak on the military conflicts because that's important. But I'll let you figure it out for the rest of it. I'll just cover the news. I I have to laugh because you either laugh, you cry, you scream. You got to pick one. So I'm going to pick laugh. Coffee and coffee. Laughing and coffee. And I don't know, maybe THC cartridges and nicotine. And now I feel like the movie The Jerk. For anybody that's seen that, if you have not seen the movie The Jerk with Steve Martin in it, you have your assignment. I'm just going to take my lamp. Oh no, see? I'm just going to take my revolving light. That's all I need, my revolving light. Get back up there. You see, we got really expensive cost here at the Watchman studio. Don't shake the desk, Mike. Anyway, I couldn't resist that intro, and I just got to screwing around. Oops. And I better set my coffee down, along with the THC cartridge. Anyway, well, I'm always getting huffs. Oh yeah, she's been like huffing like crazy. She's like, I thought we were done with this shit. No, this is your punishment for getting loose. Let this be a lesson. Yeah, we played that song I don't know how many times today because it's just like awesome. As soon as I heard it, I was like, oh my goodness. Anyway, so I knew the lights, I knew both sets of lights were capable of doing stuff to music, but I never did it because I'm not so much into that stuff. It's not like a disco club. It's like my living room. So I just checked it out, and I thought it was a pretty damn cool effect, and I thought, man, that would look kick-ass with that song. So, anyway, that's why I had to. Let me get a little bit of nicotine. Make sure I grab the right one. All right, I'll be passed out in my chair, and you'll be reading the news for yourself. So yeah, New Year's, not New Year's, it is New Year's Eve. Christmas Eve was fun. I'd been looking forward to actually mulching the leaves at the first best opportunity. I couldn't stand looking at them, to be honest. And so, Christmas Eve it was. I mean, it was the warmest day during that little spell. So that's when I did it. We don't celebrate Christmas, so it's not like it was anything super, super special. We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. we didn't even wish each other Merry Christmas because, like, we don't celebrate it. And for me personally, it's not necessarily a good time, not even remotely. So it's really, there's no words that I can say as to how it feels not to see your kids for 10 years. It's an emptiness that I can't put into words. And this year, and it's been creeping up every year for the last 2-3 years. It's incrementally worse every year. And it sucks. It sucks. It really, really sucks. Because even if they were to walk into my life today, that's 10 years of their lives that I don't know a damn thing about. I can't reach out to them. I couldn't reach out to them then. Until there are laws that are put on the books that even give fathers a little foot in the door, ain't got a chance. Ain't got a chance. But if we were to get something like parental alienation laws in the state of Illinois, and it's happening in states across the country, I think it's just a matter of time. I've got every bit of evidence that I need. I've got downloaded copies of the Facebook messages, all of it. Got video with audio that hasn't been heard by any courts, but proves the thing I've said the entire damn time. It's insane, the uphill battle that fathers have. And that's not just Illinois. It's been most states. It still is most states. And get this, it doesn't stop at our borders. It's an international issue. Imagine that, an international agenda to remove fathers from the home and then strap them so bad with child support that there ain't no possible chance that they can have their own life. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then if for whatever reason they can't pay it, well, to jail you go. You can't drive. Hell, you can't even hunt or fish legally. That is a crime against humanity. Do you know that? That is a crime against humanity. Because if I was homeless and had no money to be able to buy food, I have a natural... This is just like the right to self-defense, folks. It is an inalienable right that you can provide yourself with sustenance. And what does that mean? Hunting and fishing and gathering, if you're into that sort of thing. I can't believe it. And none of this stuff has been challenged. None of it has been challenged. And until it is, I call it minicide. I call it minicide. Anyway, let's do some news. Let's see. Sip of coffee. Bring you along for the ride. Russia explains retaliation for Ukrainian terror attack. It says here, Russia's military has conducted a string of high-precision missile strikes targeting Ukrainian military facilities and officials in response to the Ukrainian strike on Belgorod on Saturday that left more than 20 civilians dead, the defense ministry has said. Now, hold up. So, what happened was Ukraine attacked Belgorod, killed 20 civilians, injured, I can't remember, the article probably say a little further down. And so Russia had launched their largest strike yet against Ukraine. And that is what this article is about. It's Russia's bomb-splaining about what they did. And if you think it ends there, Ukraine fires massive barrage at Donetsk, says officials. Now, that is since this. And we'll get to that in just a moment. Says in a statement on Sunday, the ministry said that Moscow's forces had struck decision-making centers and other military targets in the city of Kharkov, not far from the border between the two countries. It noted that a high-precision missile strike on the building formerly housing the Kharkov Palace Hotel eliminated representatives of the main intelligence directorate and armed forces of Ukraine who were directly involved in the planning and execution of the terrorist attack in Belgorod. The building also housed up to 200 foreign mercenaries who were gearing up for terrorist raids into Russian territory, officials added. Other strikes hit the building of Ukraine's security service and a temporary deployment area of Ukrainian nationalists, representatives of the SBU leadership, foreign mercenaries, and fighters of the Kraken unit. Release the Kraken? Who were directly preparing sabotage on Russian territory, have been taken out, officials said. So they're not going to be releasing the Kraken anytime soon. In addition to this, an attack was carried out on a branch of the National Space Control Center in western Ukraine, which had been used by Kiev for reconnaissance. Fuel depots in Kharkov and Kiev-controlled part of Russia's Zaporozhye region were also destroyed, according to the statement. At the same time, the ministry stressed that the Russian military only strikes military targets and infrastructure directly associated with them. Ukrainian officials in Kharkov have confirmed the barrage, saying that there had been 6 strikes that damaged civilian infrastructure with 28 injured. The new attack comes in response to a Ukrainian bombardment of Belgorod that killed at least 24 people, including 4 children, with 108 injured. Moscow has said that the barrage used both cluster munitions as well as Czech-made projectiles. On Saturday, Vasily Nebenzia, Russia's envoy to the UN, accused Western countries of complicity in the attack, warning that those who orchestrated it would be punished. Sorry for my stammering. Not usually a stammerer. Maybe it's because I need nicotine. Sounds like a good excuse. Oh, hell, we're live. Anybody get the notice or no? I did. We were a couple minutes late, though, and that was Blue's fault. No, it wasn't. It was my fault, but I blamed her. That's how it works around here. I'm waiting. It will come. I promise you. And the longer it takes for the huff to come, the bigger it will be. Anyway, Ukraine fires massive barrage at Donetsk, says officials. Ukrainian troops have shelled the Russian city of Donetsk, local authorities said in the early hours of Monday, urging residents to seek shelter. The head of the Donetsk People's Republic, Denis Pushilin, said that at least 4 people were killed and 13 injured. Emergency officials, meanwhile, told news agency TASS that a journalist was killed and another sustained injuries without identifying them by name. Casualties were reported after the city center was hit by a massive barrage, officials said. They added that one of the main hotels, the Donbass Palace, was struck. Pushilin released a statement around 1 a.m. local time, saying that Ukraine had used multiple rocket launchers. I urge everyone to stay in shelters, he wrote on Telegram. The shelling can resume at any moment. A local resident told news agency RIA Novosti that the attack began shortly after midnight. I went to the balcony for a smoke, and heard a loud bang. I thought at first that it was fireworks, he said. Unverified videos posted to social media show several explosions. Other videos show damaged apartment blocks and burning vehicles. Donetsk frequently comes under rocket attacks due to its proximity to the front line. The most recent shelling occurred after Ukraine fired missiles at the Russian border city of Belgorod on Saturday, killing 24 people and wounding 109. So, got that going on. And, I'm thinking, yeah, that's just them two. Trading punches. Well, a little more serious than that, I suppose. Generals prepare Western Europe for war with Russia, German and Dutch statements say. At the time when the most severe Russian missile attack took place in Ukraine, the generals of Europe are preparing their citizens for the most likely scenario of Third World War. After Germany, which is making warlike statements to prepare public opinion in the Netherlands, the commander of the Royal Dutch Army, Lieutenant General Martin Wienen, in an interview with the Dutch newspaper De Telegraaf on December 28, said indirectly but clearly that his country must better prepare for a future war with Russia by encouraging voluntary military service. You also have to remember that they're trying to implement, and I can't remember the name of it, but where they can pretty much freely move military equipment, through countries. Imagine the express lane on the interstate for missiles, right? Something like that. Well, anyway. Let's see. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius, and I'm telling you, man, that guy should have popped his dad in the face. Similarly told Die Welt AM Sonntag in an interview on December 16 that Europe could face risks at the end of this decade, and should be more involved in guaranteeing security on our continent. Dutch society shouldn't think that security is guaranteed because their country is more than 1,000 kilometers from Russia, Wienen said. Russia is getting stronger. Wienen or Ouija board, I don't know, told De Telegraaf newspaper that the Netherlands needs to work on its operational readiness to ensure that we have enough deterrent power. Man, I'm missing words and I don't know. To deprive any adversary of the courage to attack us. He also claimed that there is only one language that Russia understands. Put your hands up! I don't know. And that is of the powerful armed forces. So, it was kind of like that, but probably wouldn't sound so stupid. The general, who has led the Royal Netherlands Army since 2019, also described the Dutch military as crippled by budget cuts. That's not nice to say, according to De Telegraaf. The Netherlands, which abolished conscription in 1997, now faces a staggering shortage of personnel, the newspaper said. Ouija board spoke about the need to increase the size of the army. If we start having losses, who will make up for them? Well, nobody can pronounce your name. Go ahead. We had options for that, but not anymore, he added, noting that the Dutch would have no choice whether to fight or not in the event of a forced conflict. The Netherlands has to learn again that the whole society has to be ready when things go wrong, Ouija board said. Could you imagine that? What's going to happen? Quit moving it, Bob. Although his words do not mean that everyone should wear a helmet tomorrow, why not? The Dutch people are too used to the idea that there is always peace, the army chiefs added. So, look out, Netherlands people. So this is about the airplane that's got an upgrade. Right on, Steve. Howdy, and howdy, Leo. Oh, man. Fun time. Pink starburst. Alright. Su-57 gains terrifying air combat capabilities, 80,000-pound thrust, and artificial intelligence in battle. The advanced and more powerful Stage 2 engine named, it's one of those things like Is Delay 30 and rated at 80,000 pounds of thrust will power all future Su-57 fighters delivered to the Russian Air Force by United Aircraft Corporation, UAC. The hyper-cruise capable engine can take the aircraft to supersonic speeds without engaging the afterburner, thereby reducing the thermal footprint, improving fuel efficiency and thrust while reducing maintenance costs. So they pretty much caught up with the F-22 in that regard. They still don't have the thrust vectoring like we do. So neener. I don't know if they've got the stupid little fins either, and I call them stupid little fins. They're not stupid. But the F-22 and the F-35, and I don't know if they've added them to any other of the aircraft or not, the U.S. aircraft, but the F-35, F-22 have these like little fin things on their on the fuselage, and they'll raise up depending upon what you're doing with the control surfaces. They will act as like little bitty drag brakes, and it's really cool. Let's see. The Su-57 flies with the NPO Saturn Product 117 engine derived from the AL-41F-1S engines. Now, there's going to be a test later, so you know. The Su-57 was used in the ongoing Ukraine war to destroy Ukrainian radars, while some batches of the fleet were also augmented with artificial intelligence. That newfangled stuff, Steve. The announcement, I don't know why I said your name, Steve. I didn't want to say Bob again, right? I got to keep it changed up. Yeah, I said Bob earlier. Like Tom. Are you out there, Tom? I don't know if Tom's out there, though. Let's see. The announcement of the new engine marks another step in the stable operation of the aircraft. According to TASS, citing two high-ranking sources, because you can always trust them, all Su-57s transferred to the Russian Aerospace Forces, VKS, in 2024 will receive Stage 2 engines with Stage 5 turbos. No, I'm kidding about the turbos. The Stage 2 engine has been tested and it is ready for operation, the sources said. Well, I hope so, if you're going to start putting them in. The engine will be installed in the next batch of Su-57s delivered to the Russian Air Force in 2024. Remember the VKS. The 10 Su-57s received from the Komsomolsk-on-Amur aircraft plant in 2023 were also boosted with a Stage 2, here we go, Izdilai engine. In other words, the Stage 2 Izdilai 30 AL-51F-1 bing, will be the permanent engine in any Su-57 delivered to the Russian Air Force from now on. The new engine will not be fitted to older Su-57s for operational reasons. There are no plans to replace the Stage 1 engines in the Su-57s that have already entered the aerospace forces with new engines, as even the first engine, the official said. So, yeah. Man. And they've got that missile. Whew. That we can't detect, nobody can detect. It's like, what's that? That's pretty much the end of the communications. The new engine allow that sucker to do Mach 1.5 and Mach 1.6 without afterburning. Without. They're not going to tell you what it'll do with the afterburner. Just like you're not going to hear what the F-35 and the F-22 will do. Full afterburner. There might be people that say they know. There might be people that release false information. They're not letting you know. And in fact, there's not much seeing the cockpit of either one of them. Not at least, going. I think there's images and stuff out there, and probably little video clips and stuff of F-35 of the instrument panel and stuff like that, but you're not going to see a whole lot. And the F-22, you really don't get to see a whole hell of a lot of that one nearly at all. Not even in comparison to the F-35. They keep a real tight hold on that F-22 information. So, and rightfully so. That damn thing. Put it this way. Oops, sorry. Even with this new advancement with the Su-57 and the missiles that we can't see coming, seriously, there's other ways to be able to detect aircraft, to know that they're there. The thing of it is it's just going to delay. You know, I mean, they might take out a few aircraft, but at some point we're going to change up, and we're going to figure out where they are, how to find them, and we'll respond. I don't think that an F-35 would stand, I'm just being honest, I don't think it would stand a whole much of a chance against an Su-57. But the F-22 will absolutely give it a run for its money. Now, here's the important thing to remember. The aircraft have been updated, like all of them. The F-22, the F-35, the F-16, and I believe the F-15, the EX, or whatever the hell they're up to now, they share information about the battlefield, along with every single tank and all of that that's on the ground, all the satellite, everything. It's all put together, literally in one place, so that in real time, the people commanding can literally look at the battlefield. And so, one way or another, they're going to figure out where the hell the Russian planes are, where they're shooting from. It's not going to take them a whole long time. Like I said, Russia might get a couple of us because we don't see their missiles coming. But we'll figure it out. Either way, if it comes down to this, oof. Man, most of the people in the world today don't have any idea what World War II was like. I don't have any idea what World War II was like. And even Vietnam. I'm not playing light on any war, but even Vietnam wasn't near what World War II was. The most concerning thing to me is that logistics is totally different today than it was even in the Vietnam War. So to say that the contiguous 48 states wouldn't be a target is not something that would be very accurate today. And wow. Even if we don't have an issue domestically, and that, I'm telling you, that's such a huge if, we still have to think back to how it was during like World War II. All the rationing, all the corporations that had to start doing stuff for the war effort. There are a lot of people that oof. A lot of people don't have a clue, and a lot of people will have to go in and do different things. I mean, it could wind up that we don't have a choice in a lot of stuff. It could be that Able-bodied men and women might be put on the battlefield, and those that aren't so able-bodied might be put in a production factory somewhere, making stuff for the war effort. Not like it hasn't been done before. And that's not a future that I want to see my kids grow up with. Now, that kind of makes things a little bit worse, too. Because I can see the tea leaves, or I can read the tea leaves. I can see clearly what's in front of us. Anyway, Israel must have full control over Gaza-Egypt border, says Netanyahu. To me, this is insane. This is just, and I know the majority of the people, large majority of the people out there is going to be absolutely in support of Israel, and you do you, boo, but I love the Father very much. Says Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu aims to take full control of the Gaza-Egypt border zone, arguing that this is the only way to achieve the demilitarization of the Palestinian enclave and prevent cross-border attacks. Speaking at a press conference in Tel Aviv on Saturday as Israel enters the 13th week of the war with Hamas, Netanyahu predicted that the war will continue for many more months despite international pressure to end the hostilities. He reiterated the plans to fully eliminate Hamas and achieve the release of all Israeli hostages, promising to ensure that Gaza no longer poses a threat to Israel, and that there will be no element in it that finances terrorism, educates its children for terrorism, and pays the families of terrorists. Netanyahu added that there are additional important missions aiming at restoring security in the Israeli cities and settlements that fell victim to the devastating Hamas attack on October 7 and facilitating a safe return for residents. The Philadelphia, I don't know how it's pronounced, corridor, or to put it more correctly, the southern stoppage point of Gaza must be in our hands. It must be shut. It is clear that any other arrangement would not ensure the demilitarization that we seek, the Prime Minister said. To me, I think this is just absolute insanity, my opinion. As Prime Minister, I have rejected the international pressure aimed at stopping the war before we achieve these goals, Netanyahu added. He also praised the U.S. for approving the supply of additional war material to the Israel Defense Forces. Netanyahu did not elaborate on whether he plans to place the enclave under exclusive Israeli control after years of disengagement following the unilateral withdrawal of Israeli security forces in 2005. However, he has repeatedly said he will not allow the Palestinian Authority, which governs the West Bank but not Gaza, to take charge of the embattled enclave after the war. Netanyahu's statement came days after South Africa filed an appeal before the International Court of Justice in The Hague, accusing Israel of committing genocide of the Palestinian population in Gaza. Israel has rejected the accusation as lacking factual and judicial basis, instead blaming Hamas for inflicting suffering on Gazans and accusing the militant group of using civilians as human shields. Right now, there's more than 21,600 people that have been killed in Gaza since Israel began the airstrikes, launched a ground invasion in the enclave, according to the Hamas-run government. And even with the argument that, oh, well, they're not telling the truth, do you really think that they're that far off that they're... No. No. Sure, they may embellish a little bit, but that's an awful damn big number. And you know damn well all you got to do is look at the destruction. I mean, they are absolutely leveling places. It's insane. Hang on, I gotta have a sip of coffee here. I'm out of coffee now. Damn. It's not even right. Reunification with Taiwan is inevitable, says Xi. Chinese President Xi Jinping has declared that the reunification of Taiwan and the Chinese mainland is a historical inevitability. Damn words. According to Reuters, Xi made the comments as the island prepares to hold contentious parliamentary and presidential elections. The reunification of the motherland is a historical inevitability, Xi said in his New Year's address on Sunday, according to a translation by news agency. Compatriots on both sides of the Taiwan Strait should be bound by a common sense of purpose and share in the glory of the reunification of the Chinese nation, he added. An official translation by state news outlet Xinhua used simpler phrasing, quoting Xi as saying China will surely be reunified, and all Chinese on both sides of the Taiwan Strait should be bound by a common sense of purpose. Xi made a shorter reference to unification during last year's message, stating only that the people on both sides of the Taiwan Strait are members of one and the same family. However, Taiwan is set to hold presidential and parliamentary elections in mid-January, and opinion polls currently show Vice President La Ching-tai, or T, I don't know how it's pronounced, of the ruling Democratic Party in the lead for the presidency. Lai has described himself as a worker for Taiwanese independence, while Beijing views him as a destroyer of peace across the Taiwan Strait, according to China's Taiwan Affairs Office. So, in other words, if this guy would happen to get in, it might bring up the timeline for China to do something. Just something to consider in all of the mess that's going on. I'm getting tired of reading. I'm tired. I'm not going to read this one now. I'll get to headlines, and I'm like tired, so. And I need nicotine, and I'm out of coffee, and I'm just going to start crying. And she's huffing. Dog's huffing at me. She's a booty head, and she knows she's a booty head. I said, get a black lab, but not one out of the booty head box. And you got one out of the booty head box. Right? I'm getting glared at right now. I love that kid. She is so awesome. Anyway, yeah. Little Kim, Rocket Man. Rocket Man! That dude, that cat, says he's not gonna, fist bump and join the circle jerk with South Korea. So, I don't know. Sorry to disappoint anybody that wanted to attend. No huffs from that? I mean, come on, that should have got a huff so loud that they could hear it. It's coming. London risks San Francisco level drug crisis, says police chief. Well, police chief should quit doing all them drugs. Israel must have full control over Gaza. Oh, I read that article. What? It just now came. I got the huff, and she's all stretching out. Pretty soon she's going to be sticking her belly up. She opened her eyes like, what? Alright. Let's see. Share of dollar in global reserves nosedives, says the the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. Kiev seeking to kill as many Russians as possible, says Moscow. That's kind of the goal of war. I don't know. A Houthi missile hits container ship in the Red Sea, says Pentagon. Alarm sirens sound in Russian border city day after deadly Ukrainian attack. Russian factory activity humming, says survey. Well, just make sure it's not too loud. People are trying to sleep. Egypt-Russia trade soaring, says an official. Well, you better tie a string to it so it don't get away. McDonald's franchise sues Israel boycott movement, says Reuters. Moscow retaliates for Ukrainian terrorist attack, says Ministry of Defense. You know, it could be method of destruction, but I'm pretty sure it's Ministry of Defense. Russia's forex reserves surging. U.S. wary of completely ruining relations with Russia, says Lavrov. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the old man don't even know which room he's in. Iran and Russia officially ditched dollars, says media. Ukrainian men finding it harder to leave the country, says media. Well, yeah, because there's not many of you left. How do you leave if you're, buried? Gold to hit new highs next year, says Reuters. You think? Korean unification impossible. I read that article. Well, I didn't read the article, to be factual. Russia's gas production soars, says data. Russian cities cancel New Year's festivities in solidarity with Belgorod. Biden is on Putin's naughty list for a second consecutive year. However, Putin passed on putting him over his lap and spanking him. There's just some things no man should have to experience. UK preparing to attack Houthis, says the Times. NATO state warns of unmanned anti-Semitic threat. Putin praises hero soldiers in New Year's address. Neo-fascism must be destroyed in 2024, says Medvedev. Can we start tomorrow? Most Brits regret Brexit poll. It says a poll. Something. They don't regret the poll, they regret the results of the poll, and I think that's bullshit anyway. I don't think that poll is, honest. Let's see. Medvedev says Vladimir Zelensky wants to see us turn Kiev into Gaza. Well, not really, because, nah. Russian Ministry of Defense says Ukrainians lost 350 soldiers in Donetsk in just one day. Let's see. Ukraine fires massive I covered that one. Zelensky personally ordered bombing attack on civilians, says an RT source. Trump warns of new Great Depression. Panda unpacks New Year's gifts in Moscow Zoo. I mean, that is important news to get out there. And lastly, Israeli minister makes case for depopulation of Gaza. Are you really surprised at that? I'm not surprised at that. I don't know. I think it's foobar. And on that note, I'm going to foobar my butt on out of here and relax for a little bit before I go to bed. So, yeah, I'm not staying up for that bullshit. I'm not even remotely interested. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a defeatist, and I'm not the kind of, okay, the movie Stripes, right? When he's on top of the RV screaming, "I'm too old for this shit." Exactly. Exactly. Anyway, I am going to get out of here. I hope you all have a fun New Year. please, and I mean this in all sincerity, please do not drink and drive. Please, I beg you. I'm not a fan of alcohol as it is. I love THC. Just to be real honest, I pretty much despise alcohol. A lot of bad stuff that comes from it. But the worst thing is the death of an innocent person because somebody couldn't resist the urge to drink and drive. Please don't be that person. Anyway, I am out of here. It's nice to be back. And I'll be back tomorrow night. Hope you all have a good new year. God willing, we'll be here tomorrow. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom. Thank you, Leo.